Start with a little olive oil. A little olive oil. Extra virgin. Remember how we do this, right? We gotta get really hot. So the idea is that we're gonna, we're making, these are they call them, I think it's called busquera carne. It's the leg. Okay, so they take the leg, and inside there is bone marrow, and that is really, really good for getting out any sort of excess candida you might have in your system. And for those of you kind of catching up, what we're talking about here, and what Jedi Joy's been talking about, is we've been eating too many carbs because we are unaware that carbs are really just sugar. That is, rice, grains, gluten, all that converts to, well, not gluten, but converts to sugar. So the problem is when you have too much sugar and it builds up inside your body, besides getting fat and looking terrible and feeling awful and being unhealthy and causing tooth decay and heart disease and everything else, the sugar will feed something inside your body called candida. That's a fungus. And women get it frequently, and they know they do because when they eat too much cheese. And that's another form of sugar. It's a very high concentrated form of sugar. In fact, it's so concentrated, they have to water it down to 2% for you to drink it. But it has so much sugar in it that it's designed, not just the sugar, because it's called lactose. So we don't even call it sugar because it's a special kind of sugar. So even though they water it down, so chemically it only has a certain percentage of sugars. That lactose, that type of sugar is designed to make a baby cow, which is pretty big, probably about the weight of an adult human maybe, into a 2,000-pound cow. That's the weight of a car or an SUV. So in order to do that, you need a lot of sugar when it's a baby. So you give it lactose, high concentrated. Now, whoever came up with the idea of drinking another mammal's breast milk, that was insane. Think about it. It makes no sense. Two things. It doesn't make any sense for adults to be drinking milk. I mean, do you have the urge to, wet nurse? No, you don't have a drive to do that. You're just drinking it because you like the sugar. Who doesn't like ice cream? Who doesn't like dairy? Who doesn't, coffee sucks unless you pour a bunch of sugar and lactose, sugar in it, and it's suddenly, oh, it tastes great. Okay, so here we got the pot real hot here. And the reason why I want it hot is because we're going to create a sear. Now the point of creating a sear is that you want to seal in the flavors and the juices of the steaks. So get them in there like that. And by the way, I don't know, do you guys like it? I kind of like it sometimes I'm watching a live thing. I'm usually holding it in my hand. I'm usually not watching some amateur live on my Apple TV, on my big screen. So that's why I rotate it this way, because I assume that the live one, people are hand holding it. So if you prefer it, portrait, I'd be happy to do that next time. Okay, so we're gonna let these things sear. So sear. So this is what we call the Bachelor in Panama. Because Jedi Joy is the one who does all the cooking around here. But I've been tasked with it today because, well, quite simply, Jedi Joy is not here. She's in Las Vegas. So I have to fend for myself, you know. She said that I could order and have food delivered. But listen, having other people cook my food is not something that I'm interested in. I'll do it in case of emergency, like I might have to if I run out of money, but she said she can wire me money. Because I can buy these steaks. Each of these steaks cost me about $3 a piece. So 2 of them I'm gonna eat one for dinner, and then probably have it left over, another one left over, kind of snack on if I get hungry throughout the day. Because back to what we were talking about, the lactose, the sugar, too much. So it's not just reducing the amount of sugar, it's what Dr. Atkins was on to. He called something that was referred to as an induction period. What that means is you don't just let me check the sear over here. Keep them steaks down. Flip them. Keep them steaks on that grill because they like to throw up, you know, the fat throws up. So you want to press them down. You guys following me here? Probably not. You're like a mile away. So yeah, so I'm just pressing it down like that. So the top has a nice, you don't want it burned. Don't burn it. Very important. Don't ever eat charcoal burned crisp food, ever. That is carcinogenic. So it's very important you remember not to do that. So when you go to barbecues and whatnot, that food is actually really bad for you. When you hit the barbecue, it's that charcoal, the oils seep into that charcoal, which is carbon. That creates carbon monoxide. It really does. Or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, the oil combined, like the animal fat combined with the carbon, when it boils up and it gets onto your food, they discovered that is carcinogenic. And I believe it to be true because we had a barbecue restaurant. That was our family business. And my dad died of cancer in his throat. I mean, how would you get it in your throat other than eating something? So I'm guessing it was probably too much barbecue for him. And then the doctors put him on an all-sugar slippy diet because he couldn't digest anything. So they put him on pure sugar, which now we know, according to the Harvard Medical Journal from 2019, that excess sugar, more than 25 grams a day, will cause colon cancer. I'm suspecting if they do more research that we'll find out that it causes all sorts of other types of cancer too. So, let's check our sear. Looks pretty good. So now that it's seared, come on over here. So now that it's seared, what you want to do is you turn down your temp to a simmer. We don't have any dials here. You have to use gas. You want to make sure you look at the flame. You want it at a simmer, about like that. Now we have a draft in here, so if it gets windy, that's going to go out. Okay, so there you go. So that's the dinner, and it's doing its thing. And if Jedi Joy were here, she would just stay in there and she'd clean the kitchen and get it all dialed in, and then flip it like every 2 or 3 minutes, just back and forth, so it's absolutely perfectly cooked. Me, on the other hand, I like to do other shit. I want, if I can do some. I would put the music on, but I can't because we're on YouTube Live. So I have to jump over to Periscope, where I can play music and I can do some whatever. So please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We are health and nutrition experts. That's what we do. And we're also experts in cannabis. We know a lot about drugs. We know a lot. I'm not talking about just partying. I think people are kind of over the idea that people get wasted on weed. I mean, that was a myth. They were usually drinking alcohol when they smoked the weed. That's what got them wasted. But if you just smoke weed, like medicinally, there's no getting wasted at all. Anyways, that's why it's legal. Okay, anyways, there's so much to talk about with so many things about in this era, in 2020, that I have to share. You know, I mean, I have a background in biology. She's a nutrition expert because she's been constantly just befuddled with the whole diet thing. So between the two of us, we've come up with a lot of solutions to problems people are having. So if you're interested in learning how to become more healthy, please subscribe to Jedi Rich Creator Producer and follow all of the Jedi accounts on Twitter, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Oh, and check out the website, JediRich.com. It's been a pleasure.